Hello, my beautiful soul family. Buenas noches, buenas noches. Bienvenidos, bienvenido. Good evening. Welcome. A little late, but better late than never. I am happy uh, to see each and every one of you here tonight. It's been a long day and a long evening, but here we are. For a minute, I thought I was not going to be able to come on, but here I am. Blessings to you, little wicked, my soul sister. Blessings to you too, Vanilla Skin. Buenas noches, Santo Malik Chango. My Instagram soul family, my YouTube soul family. Here we are. Bendiciones para ti también, Omaira. Uh, Proto Soul, blessings to you. And here we go indeed, a new vibe tribe. Yes, yes, yes. Uh, Thank you. Likewise, we the fools. Happy Tuesday. Hope you had it smooth and filled with sweetness. Thank you so very much, Little Wicked. Thank you so very much. How's my beautiful soul family doing tonight? How are you all doing? How has your week been? For the past week, how have you been? And do let me know what city or state, country you are checking in from. Do tell. How was this recent moon in Gemini for you? How did it treat you? That's great to hear, Sacred Pleasure. I'm happy to hear that. Austin, Texas is in the house. My hometown, Miami, is in the house. New Orleans is in the house. Our New Orleans was jamming this weekend with the Super Bowl. It must have been packed out there. St. Louis, Missouri is in the house. That is awesome. That is awesome. Where else? Where else are we checking in from? Do me a great favor, San Francisco. I like San Francisco. It's nice out there. So far, so good. From Pennsylvania. Awesome, awesome. Awesome. Chicago is in the house. Sacred Pleasure says, two packed. I hear you. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Do me a favor, my soul family, and let the rest of the tribe know we are on tonight. Number one, I didn't post on Instagram that I was going to come on tonight. YouTube did get a notification, but it was for 6:30, right, which is our usual time that we go on. But tonight I had too much going on, and I've been delayed, and then I had a little technical issue trying to update the time on the stream, third party stream here. So yes, one of those evenings. One of those evenings. Blessings and peace to you too, Lyrical Movement. Thanks you so very much. Thank you so very much. So here we are. Here we are this evening. I want everyone to do me a favor as we give time. Hopefully others can see that we are live and will join us. Do share this live on your timeline and your stories so that others can see that we are live, so you can support and help with the algorithms. A little house announcements, actually, before I start. A little house announcement. My calendar is open. There was a little glitch. If you were trying to book a session with me, a reading with me, and you saw that there were no appointments available, that has been fixed. There was a glitch in the system, in my scheduler system, so now it's been fixed. So you're able to now book your appointment if you are interested in a reading. My next availability will be this Thursday. The calendar is open, and you should be able to schedule your appointment without any further difficulties. Okay, we have this month's Healing Voices meditation on Friday the 21st. Spirit willing, ancestors willing. I hope that you sign up for that. You can click the link in my bio to sign up. If you are on Instagram, you can click the link in my bio to sign up for the Healing Voices meditation class for this month, which will be on Friday, the 21st in Pomona, California at Gypsy Love Metaphysical Shop. And I am available for in-person, personal, one-on-one cleanses and healings on Wednesday, the 26th. That all you're also able to click the link in my bio if you are on Instagram to schedule your personal session, your personal healing cleanse session, which will be on Wednesday, the 26th is the only day I'll be available this month for that. Okay. Other than that, that's about it. What I will share with you, I am almost done putting together the 3-month course, manifestation course for us. So that should be up and running pretty soon, hopefully, spirit willing. So stay tuned to that, right? And also the this year's shadow work retreat, the 3-day shadow work retreat, will be in October. If you are interested in joining this year's shadow work retreat, send me your name, DM me, send me an email, send me a message so that I can put you down on the list. And once I'm able to share it, I'll send it to you first to give you an opportunity to sign up for the shadow work retreat of this year, which will be here in Southern California, and it will be in October. That being said, this roll, this dice, since we are running behind, I want you to write in the chat, if you will, wasted talents. Wasted talents is our theme this evening. Wasted talents. I want you to write it in the chat. Wasted talents. Write it in the chat. Write it in the chat. Wasted talents. Write it in the chat. Wasted talents. I am here and I am done with wasted talents, says Justify. I hear you. Why are you coming hot like this early? I ain't coming. I'm just, hey, I'm doing Spirit's work. I am sharing what Spirit wants me to share with you. Don't blame the messenger. Don't kill the messenger here. So, wasted talents is our theme of this evening. And Spirit gave me this message earlier today. And I was like, I was like, wow, this is a pretty hot one. And I can see how tough it can be for a lot of people. Because the worst thing that we can do is live a life and go about our life with wasted talents. That's the worst thing we can do to us, to ourselves. Live in a life of wasted talents. Now, what does this even mean? Well, as I was praying on it and meditating on it, Spirit revealed to me and reminded me how many people are in oficios, trabajos, in jobs that are not in alignment with their calling in life. So many people waking up every day, early as heck, tiring themselves all day long to arrive home feeling physically, mentally, and spiritually, and even emotionally exhausted, giving their all to a particular job that is not in alignment with their divine calling, with their natural talents. What happens is that you find yourself having to do the job because the job pays the bills. The job puts food on your table. It feeds your family. The job. But the problem is that the job feeds the mouths while the talents feeds your soul. Come on now. Oh my God. I'm already feeling a vibration here. And that literally just came to me. I kid you not. The job feeds mouths, pays bills, but your divine natural talents feeds your soul. Whew. Even my invisible hairs on my head just stood up with that one. And we have to be cautious that we're not living a life in which we repeatedly give all of ourselves to a job that pays the bills and puts food on the table and feeds the mouths, but keeps our soul empty, keeps our soul hungry, keeps our soul abandoned, keeps our soul out of alignment, keeps our soul distant from the path that we were meant to walk into. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? So it is important for us to check in. We have to check in with ourselves. We have to check in with the God of our understanding. We have to be so raw, so profoundly honest, truthful, and transparent with ourselves. Now, you and I both know that's easier said than done. And I'm not saying, nor would I ever attempt to say that it's easy, because if it were easy, then we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we? But the truth of the matter is that if we don't challenge ourselves, if we don't push ourselves, if we don't take a risk on ourselves, if we don't bank on us, we will continue to wake up every day fulfilling a job that puts food on the table, but will keep our soul unclothed, empty. It will keep us feeling like a zombie. We go about the motions, but our soul is not fulfilled, it's not full. We have to be cautious of that. Now, how did we get there? That's the bigger question. How did we get there? Well, some of us got there because we got thrown into life's challenges early on. Some of us got there because we've been struggling for as long as we can remember. Some of us got there because our path, the original plan, got interrupted. And what I'm here to tell you is this. Many of you are feeling frustrated at work. Many of you are feeling exhausted spiritually and physically, emotionally and mentally at work. Some of you are even up against a very scary situation right now, whether you were told that you were going to get laid off, or maybe you got fired from work for whatever reason. You lost your job. Something is not working in your favor. And as a human being, it is natural for us to initially, by way of frustration and fear and so on, the first thing we do is blame universe, blame God, get mad at God. We, blame the people around us. We feel guilty. We shame ourselves. We feel not worthy. We feel incapacitated. We physically feel, energetically and spiritually feel incapacitated. But little do you know, and we are not often reminded of the fact that when God has a plan for you, Lord, God or Lord Dumare and Zambi, the Most High, Buddha, whatever higher source you connect to and believe in, when God has assigned you to a calling, It will only allow you to waste time for a certain amount of time. Excuse me. It will only allow you to waste time for a certain amount of time. And you repeatedly find yourself struggling every 6 months, every 8 months. If you do inventory in your life, if you do inventory on your life, you will notice that there is a particular pattern that you tend to live. And this particular pattern that you tend to live tells a story by itself. Every 8 months, you find yourself in a particular struggle. Every other year, you find yourself in a particular struggle. Every year and a half, you find yourself losing your job, having to change job. Something happens that is, it's seemingly beyond your control. Like, for example, when you're working at a particular job, everything was going good, so you thought it was, and all of a sudden now, because it's a government funded a position, this particular department has been closed, and because it's not going to be the funds are not going to be renewed, and now you're out of a job. Oh my God, what do I do? But if you do inventory on your life, you realize that 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 8 months ago, you were in another situation in which you end up losing your job. And then 4 years before that last event, you also lost your job. And 2 years before that, you lost your job. So you start to question, why is it that every other year or every 2 years or every 3 years, I find myself having to switch jobs? I find myself struggling to find a new job. I find myself having to make other decisions with regards to employment and money. And I am here to propose to you the possibility that you are off track, that you are out of alignment, that you have deviated from the original plan, that you allow yourself to be sidetracked from the original plan that you would ordain, that you were blessed to execute. So when we are out of alignment with our true purpose, it is unavoidable to encounter hiccups along the way. Things started off great, but it did not end great because it was not the place that it's in alignment with your truest purpose in life. So I also want to propose to you for you to journal on, for you to meditate on, for you to pray on, for you to go to bed tonight with this question. What is my true talent? Because you were in IT and you've been doing great in IT, but it's not fulfilling your soul. Just because you're great at something does not always mean that it fulfills your soul. We are here on this earth to fulfill our soul, to fulfill our divine purpose. That is very much ingrained in our inner spirit. But when we are in the opposite direction, when we are distant from that highest purpose, we will encounter repeated issues and chaos and loss and hardships and disillusion because we are not living in our purpose. You might be great in information technology, but maybe you are an artist. Maybe you are a creator. Maybe you are a writer. Maybe you are a musician. Maybe you are a great teacher. Maybe you're someone that should be fulfilling your purpose in the kitchen, in your own food truck, in your own restaurant. But something happened where you were deviated from that path. A loss of a loved one, a marriage that went down the drain, and now you got to make ends meet, and you got to jump to the first thing that will give you a check. And your mistake was to stay there. Your mistake was to not recalibrate, upgrade the GPS so that it could put you right back in the path that you should be on. Your mistake was to settle. Your mistake was to accept it for what it was. Your mistake was to just give up on you. You gave up on yourself. So tonight, Spirit comes to you into your living room, into those headsets that you have on, if you're at work, because you might have a night job, into that car that you're sitting in right now. Maybe you're working overnight as a security guard, or maybe you're driving home, or maybe you're in the supermarket, or maybe you're prepping your lunch for tomorrow to the job that's driving you crazy. Whatever it is that you're doing in this moment, if you're here live, and whatever it is that you're doing when you watch the replay, whoever watches the replay, Spirit invites you to sit down. Spirit invites you to sit down so that you can really ask yourself, is my soul fulfilled in the job I'm doing right now? And I want the answer to not be based on how much money you're making right now. I do not want your answer to be based on the fact that it pays your bills. I do not want your answers to be based on whether or not your current job pays for your car note and feeds your family and puts clothes on your children's bodies. No. I want you to strictly ask yourself that question in terms of how your inner soul feels. Does your inner soul feel fulfilled in the work, in the job that you're doing? Do you wake up excited to the job that you're doing? When you're at the job that you are currently doing, do you lose track of time because you're so into the job that you don't realize that, whoops, it's almost time for me to leave this place? Is it a job that you are excited to go back to tomorrow morning? Because if your answer is no, then I am afraid to tell you, your soul is not fulfilled. And if your soul is not fulfilled, it is your responsibility, it is your duty to yourself to recalibrate, to realign. It is your responsibility to not settle. It is your responsibility to not quit. See, some of you quit on yourself. Some of you are in the job that you're doing right now, even if you're making six figures, because you were fulfilling someone else's idea for you. You were pushed, you were forced to go to medical school, but it's not what truly fulfills you. You are a doctor, and you might very well be a great ass doctor, but are you fulfilled? Is the true question. Is your soul fulfilled? As I said at the beginning when we started a little while ago, which is the download that Spirit gave me, and I found it to be so powerful, it gave me chills. Your job feeds your mouth and that of your family members. Your job pays the bills. Your job puts food on the table, but it doesn't feed your soul. And if your current job is not feeding your soul, you're out of alignment with your purpose. And you have a responsibility to your highest self to sit yourself down and first ask yourself, where is it, or when was it that I lost track? When was it that I deviated away from what could have been my purpose, my true purpose? Was it because I ended up doing what others told me to do? Is it because I grew up in an environment in which my self-confidence was not nurtured? So ultimately, if a person's self-confidence is shattered, you end up attempting to fulfill your divine calling in all the wrong places, which ultimately ends up always feeling like you are misplaced, which then in turn, you find yourself having to change jobs every 2 or 3 years, or you repeatedly encounter the same issues at your work, even if you've been there for 10 years. That is what we have to ponder on this evening. That is the hard question that Spirit is asking us this week. Are you picking up what Spirit is laying down? Does this make sense to any of you? We must revisit our purpose. You're getting the check. It's paying your bills and it's feeding your family. But is it feeding your soul? Because if what you do is not feeding your soul, you're living like a zombie. You're lifeless. Your inner spirit is empty. And that in itself leaves an open window for you to attract hardships and issues and conflict and chaos and gossips and problems and retaliation. And someone is always picking at you at work, and someone is always getting on your nerve at work, and someone is always pressing your button at work, and someone is always trying to get you fired, and someone is always breathing down your neck, and someone is always working your ass off to no avail, and someone is always against you in some way, shape, or form. Tonight, Spirit invites us to revisit our purpose so that we can remind ourselves of the fact that I can do this job. I'm obviously doing this job, but it's not fulfilling my soul. I'm getting the check. It's paying the bills. It's feeding my family. It's putting food on the table. It's feeding my mouth, but it's not feeding my soul. That is the toughest reality of this download. It might be feeding your mouth, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's feeding your soul. That's why I've entitled this live, this week's Tarot Tuesday, Wasted Talents. Because you do have talents. You see, that what's so fucked up about this whole thing is because you've perhaps been in this cycle for a long time, You've now allowed this cycle to convince you that you don't have a talent, that there's nothing special about you, that there's nothing unique about you, that there's nothing that stands out about you. How can something stand out in your life when you're standing in the wrong place? I gotta take 20 seconds on that one, because some things you might think is bullshit, and I don't care if you do, but some things be flowing out of my mouth that I swear it has to be spirit, because it's just something that I would even think about naturally. Do you hear me? Are you picking up what spirit is laying down? Did you just hear what spirit said? If that was for you, I want you to, if you really heard what spirit said, I want you to write it in the chat. I want you to write it in the chat. I'm not even going to repeat myself to make sure you're actually listening for whomever this message is for. If you're truly listening, if you are attentive to this download, Dr. Sheila, my soul sister, welcome. If you heard that last powerful download, write it in the chat. It's a powerful download. No one heard that. No one heard that download. If you remember what Spirit just said, I want you to write it in the chat. As I wait for somebody to write it in the chat to see if you all are even listening. Let me see what I was feeling all day. And yes, I'm in tech industry. There you go. You could be fulfilling a job, but it's not fulfilling your soul. It's not fulfilling your purpose. Which is why Spirit said, since no one is writing in the chat, so I guess you didn't hear me. Okay. A New Vibe Tribe TV says, how can you stand out when you're standing in the wrong? Yes, ma'am, you heard me. At least someone heard me. At least someone heard me. How could you be? How can you stand out when you're standing in the wrong place? Oof. And when you're standing in the wrong place for a long time, what happens? You become mentally exhausted. You become spiritually exhausted. It exhausts all of your being to the point where you forget who you are, where you forget what you were meant to be, where you don't even know how to receive the guidance because you're stuck. Can anyone in this live that's here present right now admit that they feel stuck? But let me even go a little deeper. You could be great at what you're at. You could be great at what you do. It might have fulfilled your purpose. You got to know when the different things that you have done has expired. Oh, you're not ready for that. You're not ready for this message. You have to also understand when the job that you have successfully fulfilled, that was at some point fulfilling you internally, spiritually, fulfilling your soul, has also come to its expiration date. Why? Because it means that you were not born to just do that one thing alone. Some of you have adopted a mentality where you restrict yourself to do just that one thing when you were called to do different things. And they may not all happen at the same time because you can't do everything at the same time. But when you overstay, when you overstay in what once was the right place, it can overnight become the wrong place. And now it no longer fulfills you. And now it no longer makes you happy. And now you become completely discontent with your inner self. Come on now. Am I speaking to anyone tonight? I see my soul brother here, Mr. Laz. Welcome, soul brother. Great to see you on here this evening. You have to understand when your purpose in life, the one that you're executing, has come to its expiration date. And what happens, you see, if you are truly in alignment with your purpose, number one. Number two, if you're executing your life purpose successfully and you were meant to do different things and not just that one thing, you have to make sure that while you're there, you're laying your roots. Because once the time comes for you to transition from that, those roots are grounded. They will speak for itself, and they will continue to grow because you have cemented it, you have nurtured it, you have watered it, and it will sprout. And it will also sprout for other people. While now you can shift and change your focus into something else. Do you see how many different, all under the same umbrella, but different topics under this one theme? Our theme tonight is wasted talents. And Spirit started telling us that many of you cannot even understand that you are talented because you are giving your energy in the wrong place. And when you do this repeatedly, it ends up exhausting you mentally, spiritually, energetically, emotionally, and even physically, to the point where then you start to make the biggest mistake ever. And that mistake is to believe that you're not talented, that you don't have a purpose, that, that there's nothing special about you, that, you're just another regular person that just needs to wake up and go to job so you can pay bills. No, that's not what God just put you here in this earth to do. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I'm not even getting into, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to roll this dice. Let's roll this dice with our opening oracle card. And then I'm going to jump into the tarot. Because if I go down the rabbit hole of the fact that there is a difference between talented people and gifted people, in the name of the baby black Jesus, I got to reserve that for another moment, another time. There's a difference between talented people and gifted people. But I'm not going to go there right now. Let's focus on the main message download for tonight. Themed wasted talents. Why is it wasted talents? Not because you don't have talents, which means you have a purpose, but because you are giving your energy to the wrong place, to the wrong environment. To the environment and the place that's not in alignment with your highest purpose. And then we stated, and then we cleared up that this could have come about by different avenues. This could have come about by your upbringing, because you grew up in a screwed up household that did not nurture your talents, they not even allowed you to even fulfill your talents because you wanted to be a dancer and your daddy said, no, you're not going to be no dancer. I ain't going to support you in this. You better go to school. You better go to school to become a doctor. You better go to school to become a lawyer. You better be, whatever the heck he wanted you to be. Or you grew up in a family where there were expectations of you. And because you were emotionally manipulated, because that's what it is at the end of the day, you did not, you were convinced, you convinced yourself that you did not want to let your family down. And because you did not want to let your family down, you end up fulfilling this path that you ended up on. And then, yes, indeed, you're great at what you do. But like I said earlier, it might feed your family. It might put food on the table and feed the mouths of your family and yours, but it doesn't feed your soul. Which is why you're so numb-like. Which is why you're so complacent. Which is why you're settled in other areas of your life as well. Are you picking up what Spirit is laying down? Is this making any sense to you? Can you understand this download? For those of you who this download is for. Every message is not for everybody. Do you hear me? This is the importance of deep shadow work. This is the importance of revisiting ourselves, having conversations with ourselves. This is why it's important to have a sit down with ourselves, because if not, you continue a cycle that is never truly fulfilling. Spirit also then went into the fact that you could be initially executing a great purpose in your life. But the only mistake you made is thinking that that particular purpose that was very gratifying and fulfilling in that moment in time in your life, you confused it for a lifelong purpose, and it may not necessarily be a lifelong purpose. It might be the purpose that your life started with, but it does not mean that it's the purpose that your life will end with. And you have overstayed the invitation. You have overstayed. You have prolonged your stay. So you have to revisit. You have to revisit your purpose. You have to revisit, because now you're feeling exhausted. Now you're feeling confused. Now you have settled. Now you're accepting less than. And that's not the idea. That is not the idea, my beloved soul family. It's not. I just want to tell you, don't stop dreaming. Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop knocking on doors. Don't stop searching for the person that Creator, God, whoever your God is, blessed you to be. You've been anointed to be unique in the path that your original contract says you need to be. But trauma, family, negative experiences, loss, and a number of different things have deviated you from your purpose, from your path. And you have a responsibility to yourself to realign again. Do you hear me? I want to, like, for example, sometimes if you, this is a big one. 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 If you were someone that was always chastised growing up, if you were someone that was repeatedly reprimanded growing up, you have a hard time advocating for yourself. Your throat chakra vibration was shut down from an early age. If you growing up were always made to feel wrong, if you were always made to feel like you do everything wrong, there comes a point in time in your life that you grow up where you just don't ask for anything anymore. You don't know how to advocate for yourself. Sometimes you don't even know how to stand up for yourself and protect yourself. Sometimes you are afraid of asking that particular investor. You wouldn't even think you have a big calling in your life, but you're afraid to talk to people, to communicate. Believe it or not, as weird as it might sound to you, I sit here today with you, and I've been doing a lot of spiritual work for a lot of years. And then yet it took me a long time to learn how to speak for me, for myself. If I was to die today, God forbid, and I was to come back to this universe, I will tell God to give me the same mother. My mom, she is the greatest mother in the whole wide world to me. In my book, she is. But I also know how to recognize the fact that she was a strict mom. And it took me years to understand so that I can heal my inner child from her strictness, because it took me years to make my inner child understand that she was a single mom. And single moms have it really hard. But, as a Afro-Cuban man growing in a Cuban house, when you grow up with a Latina mom, everything is strict. You gotta shut up. You can't talk. So it took me a long time to free my inner spirit from those limitations that were not intentional on her part, because my mother is my greatest protector, my greatest defender, my greatest advocate. But that part of me was not nurtured in a healthy way, and I had to teach it to myself, right? Now I've learned, and now I try to advocate more, and now I try to ask for things more. And I still someone that likes to do everything by myself. That's why, I'm not even going to go there and put all my shit out there. But I could be doing so much better if I would open my mouth more, and if I would knock on more doors and ask for support and ask for help. But I'm also used to doing things by myself. So let this also be a lesson for you. Let this be a lesson for you. That's why, with my calling and my work and what God and Spirit has me do, I've learned over the years, I'm not just one thing. I am different things. I can wear different hats. I just can't wear them all at the same time. I can't wear them all at the same time. That's why I love, I want to take my shadow work retreats, and my shadow work healings to different parts of the world. And I want to travel this year, and I want to, and I'm open for speaking engagements, for transformational speaking engagements, for companies and whatever events are out there, because this is what I know fulfills my inner spirit, fulfills my soul. But I woke up one day this year and said, if that's really what I want to do, it's not going to come knocking on my door. It's not. I am the one that needs to put it out there. I am the one that needs to lay that foundation so that it becomes possible. And I am doing it. So let's see what's the opening oracle card for this week, for tonight. Are you picking up what Spirit is laying down? Interesting. Protect and pray. Let's see what Spirit has to say about this. This is a interesting card. It's called Predator and Prey. Chasing, grasping, and obsession, it says. And the author says, As humans, we are familiar with the predator prey mentality that lingers in the lower realms of consciousness. Predator behavior is derived out of desperation and fear of not having enough, of going without, or of missing out. This low energy, animalistic behavior often breeds greed and obsession as we hyper focus on what we desire and chase it with reckless abandon. During the Buddha's fire sermon, he said that on earth, all our five senses, consciousness, smell, taste, touch, and sight, are constantly burning with illusion, desire, and hatred. To stay burning, they need continuous fuel to feed the fire. To fuel, to continuous fuel to feed the fire. And that fuel is attachment. Interesting. This constant grasping creates an energy of insatiable hunger and unfulfillment. I can't lie. It's in this book. That fiery pit that burns within can never be quenched because it incinerates and consumes everything, leaving us empty and burning once more. This often manifests in our lives as addiction and obsession and turns us into fixated predators, constantly chasing after the next fix. Predator and prey calls us to begin a practice of detachment by first identifying those things in our life that we have unhealthy attachments with. Each time we find ourselves grasping things with envy and jealousy or obsessing over the next thing, we can gently label it attachment without shame or anger. This is the first step. We do not have to implement any change in behavior at this moment. We are simply bringing the unconscious behavior to the forefront of our minds so that in the next phases, we can change it mindfully with love and compassion. Again, each time we label the behavior, we must do it with compassion and nothing else. No shame. Becoming comfortable with the demon and removing the fear and shame that surrounds the beast, we will go a long way in shrinking the power and effect this demon of attachment has on our life. Hello. Hello. This says a lot. And I don't know if you see it, but I also see how it's in alignment with our download for tonight. Because we're chasing the next fix, right? As this particular card says. But the next fix is not your calling, it's not your true purpose. The next fix is about how I'm going to continue to get that paycheck because I have bills to continue paying. I have a mortgage to pay for. I have a rent to take care for. I have children to send to school. But the next fix is not your fulfillment, your full fulfillment to your calling, to your purpose in life. So there needs to be a detachment to what you have normalized so that you can embrace what is in alignment with your highest self. Do you hear me? Are you picking up what Spirit is laying down? A new vibe tribe says here on YouTube, goodness, Spirit is talking to me. I'm happy to hear that. We must detach from the things we have normalized. And we have normalized it out of fear. Fear of loss, fear of not having enough, fear of not making it, fear of not being seen, fear of losing out, of missing out. We have to detach from the things that we have normalized that is not fulfilling to our soul and it does not guide us towards our highest purpose in life. Do you hear me? Does this make sense to you? I hope it does. Okay, let's move along and let's go ahead and initiate the tarot portion of our evening with, let's stick with the air signs. Let's stick with the air signs. Let's stick with the air signs. It is important. Air signs, air signs, air signs, air signs. That would be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Are you in the house tonight? We must get this. We must get this because some of you are tired, but you are still in a loop. Some of you are exhausted, but you're still living in a hamster's wheel. Some of you are exhausted, but you're not setting yourself free. And it is as a result of the conditioning, is a result of the brainwash, of the mindsets that are low vibrational. It's a result of you not seeking, finding yourself outside of the behaviors and the unfulfilled life that you have normalized. Do you hear me? Okay, air signs. Let's see what we got here. Not bad. Not bad. Well, if you've been working, Amaris Moss says, we're never going to get that Gemini story, are we? Yeah, you will eventually. Not tonight, though, but you will eventually. We got the Six of Wands. 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 Whew. The Six of Wands comes up for you tonight, air signs. It may not feel like it yet. You may not believe it to be true yet. But contrary to what your current situation shows, Spirit sees a victory. Every little step counts. Every little step counts. Baby steps. Baby steps. The problem is that when we are so tired of losing, of always having to be in that hustle and bustle, and we're so exhausted, it seems like the bits and pieces are not good enough. Well, let me tell you that if you don't credit yourself for the baby steps, for the bits and pieces, you will not know how to get to the big piece, to the bigger piece. You won't know how to appreciate yourself when you get to the bigger piece of the pie. Baby steps are also important. Baby steps are also valuable. And you will get to the victory. Six of Wands tends to announce victory. Six of Wands tends to say, you will get your day in court. You will manifest an experience that's fulfilling to your purpose in life. And even though what you might be doing now does not feel like it's getting you closer to that day of rejoicing and celebrating and being happy for yourself, for your life, you're actually getting there. It may not look like it. Think of it. You know how I like to think of it? Think of it as if you've been on an airplane before. When I was young, like 10, 11, 12 years old. And I used to get on airplanes. I always used to ask myself, how the hell is it? It looks like it's going so slow. Then you have the airplanes going fast as hell, right? It's going like 600 or 800 miles an hour, or however miles an hour they go. But when you look out the window, it doesn't look like it's going fast. That's you right now. It does not look like you're getting there. It doesn't look like your life is moving forward. It doesn't look like it, because all you see are the small little steps, and you're not crediting yourself. You're not valuing yourself. You're not appreciating yourself for it. Listen, after all you've been through, after all you have endured, after all that you have gone through, after all the humiliation and the loss and the hurt and the pain and the loss, after all that has been said about you, after the fact that you've been, put up against your own family and your own family has been against you, after being abandoned, after being betrayed, after being lied to, after letting yourself down so many times in the past because you didn't know any better. Every little step you're taking now counts. Every little step you're taking now counts. So you better make it count. You better celebrate it. Because you were raised, if you were the person, as I said earlier, where you were raised in an environment in which you were not nurtured and your wins were not celebrated, then you also grew up to be the person that now that you're in nursing school, now that you are, back in college, you don't even know how to celebrate yourself when you get a 91 because you wanted 100. You better celebrate that 91. You better celebrate that 92. You better celebrate what you get. Every little step counts. Because even though you're looking out the window of your life and you're seeing it in slow motion and it doesn't feel to you like it's moving fast enough, like when you're sitting in an airplane and you're looking out that window and it seems like it's going slow. Oh, but you are heading in the direction that God has ordained for you. And what you have to do is accept whatever lessons are being shown to you along the way. If people are leaving you behind, let them be. If they choose to not talk to you anymore, let them be. If people want to judge you and criticize you for your choices, let it be. If people want to talk about you, let it be. If people want to challenge you, challenge them back, but not in the same way that are challenging you. See, they're challenging you through gossip. They're challenging you by being chaotic. They're challenging you through criticism. They're challenging you by talking about you. They're challenging you by instigating, but you're going to challenge them by keeping focused on your path, keeping yourself focused on the mission. Do you hear me? I want you to be that airplane. See, that airplane is it has a GPS it has to follow. That airplane left a particular location and it knows that it has to get from point A to point B. And nothing, unless it's God, nothing is going to make that airplane go in a different direction. Birds can come, and shit on the plane, and what it winds. It can be turbulent. It can be turbulent. God knows I've been in way too many flights that have been turbulent. But the mission is for the plane to get to its destination. So Spirit says, do not pay attention to the turbulence that you're experiencing right now. Because the turbulence is nothing more and nothing less than your enemies, known and unknown, that are trying to get you to focus on the wrong thing, that are trying to get you to not want to get to your destination. It wants you to abort. They want you to give up. They want you to change course. They want you to pay attention to the small things. And that'll be your biggest mistake. That is the cycle that you have to break free from. You got to look for, you got to pay attention if there's something dangerous so you can protect yourself, right? The captain is on that airplane. It has warned the passengers that they're about to go through an area of turbulence. That's why it asks its passengers to buckle up and not get up from their seat so that they don't risk falling and hurting themselves. Spirit does not want you to get up. Spirit wants you to buckle up. Spirit wants you to stay put until you get to your destination. Do you hear me? And you will have your victory. You will have your victory. And even if it gets ugly, and even if it gets really ugly, you have to have enough faith in you and in the God of your understanding who placed you on this earth with a purpose in life to know that if it gets dangerous, God is going to give you something to protect yourself with. If it gets a little too rough, you will see those masks fall so that you don't lose your oxygen, so that you can keep breathing along the way on this journey through the turbulence until you get to your destination. Do you hear me, air signs? Do you hear me, Gemini? Are you listening to me, Libra? Are you picking up what Spirit is laying down, Aquarius? Do you hear me? So between now, listen to me. I'm having a revelation. I don't know who this message is for, but to whomever Spirit is speaking to. Between now and May, perhaps even June, it might get turbulent. It might get a little rough. The ride might be a little rocky, but you better not get off. You better not lose focus. You better not pay attention to the naysayers, to the negativity, to the family member who no matter what you do will not change. You better not pay attention to the people that are trying to press your buttons so that you look bad. You better not screw up the opportunity that God has placed you in. The ride looks like it's going slow and that you're never going to get there. But the devil is a liar, as they say. I don't even believe in the devil. Okay? Do you hear me? Spirit is speaking straight at you, whoever you are, and it wants you to listen. You better pick up what Spirit is laying down so that you are not the one that finds himself or herself saying, oh, my God, my life is a piece of shit, and I don't know why I keep struggling, and I don't know why I keep going through this. Listen, air signs. Listen, Gemini. Listen, Libra. Listen, Aquarius. You need to stay focused. Focus on the mission. Focus on the purpose. Focus on the destination, because you will have the victory. It don't look like it now. It don't smell like it now. But you know what I am sure of? I'm sure that when we got on this plane, we entered specific coordinates. And these coordinates have been blessed by the God of your understanding. And no matter what happens between point A and point B, regardless of the turbulence and the winds and the ups and downs, you better stay put on that seat. You better buckle up and not lose focus on what your destination is. Do you hear me? Are you picking up what Spirit is laying down? So when that family member calls you with the same BS, you know how to ignore it. So when that person comes asking the questions just because they're instigating, you better know how to respond. So then when that other person attempts to press your button, you better know that it's negativity attempting to get you off your ride. That it's negativity attempting to get you to abort the mission. And no, you're not. Because as Spirit says, I have a spirit that says, what's been blessed in the heavens, man doesn't have the power to curse it on earth. Unless you lower your head too far down where you get to lose your crown. Unless you start to pay attention to the negativity you should not pay attention to. Unless you engage in BS. But what's been blessed in the heavens, what's been blessed by your ancestors of wisdom, what's been blessed by your guardian angel, what has been blessed by your spirit guides of light, what has been blessed by Mother Earth, what has been blessed by the universe, what has been blessed by the God of your understanding cannot be cursed on earth. Do you hear me? And all that tells us is, it reminds us of the fact that even though the journey sometimes feels lonely, we are not on this path by ourselves. We are not walking alone. Do you hear me? I hope you really got that. That was a powerful message for the air signs. Fire, are you in the house? Fire signs, are you in the house? Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Air signs, if that message was for you and you know it was, feel free to show your love and your support for Spirit's download via the donation. The information is pinned down, traveling at the bottom of your screen. And if you are an IG, you can also click the link in the bio. Let's move forward. Where are the fire signs? Where are the fire signs? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Woo! Ooh, that message for air was fire. That message for the air signs was fire. Okay. 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 You got the Knight of Pentacles. Fire signs have the Knight of Pentacles tonight. Well, tonight Spirit shares with you air sign. The fire signs are fire, right? Fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And sometimes your character or your energy or your approach or your demeanor can be very fiery. And if it's not in a physical way, if it's not in a verbal way, it's mental. You're very fiery with yourself. Spirit wants you to ground. Grounding is important right now for decision making. Grounding yourself. Giving yourself a steady, slow pace The Knight of Pentacles does not move fast. It does not make rash decisions. It does not make careless decisions. It does not do things in an unorganized manner. It paces itself. It paces itself. This is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a Virgo card. It's methodical. It plans. It's organized. It looks at the ins and outs. And then he takes action. And whatever it is that you're doing right now, this is exactly what you need to do. You need to pace yourself. You need to organize and gather your thoughts. You need to calm your energy. You need to ground yourself. You need to look at the ins and outs of things and then make a decision. So this already tells me some people in your life are attempting to bring the worst out in you. Some people in your life are trying to say things that are untrue about yourself, fire signs. But no one should know you better than yourself. No one should know you better than you. So during this season, during this time period, pace yourself. When something comes at you that your inner spirit rejects, question it. Don't react. Meditate on it. Don't be abrupt. Don't jump the gun. Don't take things at face value. Ask the right questions. Cross-reference things. Ask for second and third opinions so you can have something to compare it with. Because the house might look nice, it might look beautiful, and you're like, oh my God, this house is so beautiful. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. This is the way some of you all fall in love with people. Oh my God, I'm in love, I'm in love. House looks beautiful, but you didn't ask about the septic tank. You didn't ask about the sewage system. You didn't ask about the electrical. If it was done correctly, a beautiful house can burn down. A beautiful house can stink. Do you hear me? So there are things going on around you in which I would say you're being tested. Pace yourself. Go out in nature. This is a card that invites us to go out into nature. Go out to a different location, to a different spot where you can actually ground yourself, put the feet on the ground, be in touch with a particular element, whether it's water, whether it's earth, with the mountains. Go somewhere where you can really be in touch with nature, so the spirit can reach you and speak to you, so that you can hear the voice of spirit speaking to you in your soul, in your inner spirit, so that you can align with the purpose that only your Ori knows is for you. So you can listen to the voice of that deceased grandmother telling you, baby, everything's going to be okay. You just have to calm yourself down. Don't let these people get to you. Let them say what they want to say. Gather your receipts. They're saying you didn't do the job. Where are your receipts? This Virgo card is telling you you're not organized, and the reason why you're under attack and the reason why you might lose is not because you didn't do the job. It's only because you did not know how to prove it. So now they're saying something about you that's not true, but you don't have anything to prove the contrary to it. You did things carelessly, or you were too trusting. Do you hear me? And because you were too trusting, and because the person that you decided and thought that it would be your ride and die is the person that's actually taking you on a ride towards your death, the death of your job, the death of your stability, the death of your income, the death of your relationship. Come on now. Oh, Spirit is hot tonight. Spirit ain't here to play. You gotta be cautious with some of these people that say that they're your ride and die. Are they your ride and die because you have fun together, and you have the drinks together, and you go to the party together, and you go to the club together, and it all feels so good, and it feels like a vibe. It might feel like a vibe, but that ride and die ain't the real ride and die, because that ride and die has not proven itself to you yet. That ride and die has not proven yourself to you yet, because you have not been in the hospital to prove whether or not they will visit you, okay? You have not been evicted, and you don't know whether or not they will give you some space in their house, in their couch, in their room, in their garage. You have not gone hungry, so you don't know if they will bring you food. You don't need medication, so you don't know if they will be willing to support you. So you better not be giving titles to people that they have not earned. Do you hear me? Fire signs. People got to prove themselves before you go around giving titles that people don't deserve, that people have not worked for, people have not earned. Do you hear me? This includes family. Yes. This includes your sibling. Yes. Yes. You might have come out of the same womb, but you're not walking alongside each other in an ordained way, in a blessed way, in a healthy way. It's time to recalibrate and gather your thoughts. It's very important. It's very important. It's very important. Pace yourself. Organize yourself. Make sure you have receipts. Make sure you gather those numbers. Make sure you keep track. Make sure everything is not just verbal, but that you have some form of communication that you can prove, whether it was an email or text message. Well, he told me to do this, and I ain't told her to do that. And now you're the one that's in trouble. It's a he said, she said bullshit. And you can prove it because it was all verbal. You got to sometimes be that kind of person that says, hey, I was busy when you tell me what you said, and I just want to make sure that I heard you right. You said that I can go ahead and send out this email to this person about it. Oh yes, go ahead and send it. Well, I didn't tell her to do that. I asked you if you wanted me to do this. I confirmed with you if you wanted me to do this, and you replied yes, which is why I did it. I obeyed orders. Know how to cover your ass. Do you hear me? You need to walk steady. You need to walk very steady during this time period. Walk very steady, and you will have the victory. Consistency will be very important in this path during this time period. Whew. Okay, fire signs. If that was for you, show your love and your support and your appreciation for Spirit's work. As I say that out loud, I do want to take the time, because I realize that I hardly ever do. I want to take the time to thank those of you that make contributions, those of you that send donations, those of you wake up and I see the Venmos, and I see the Zelles, and I see the PayPals and things of that nature. Thank you so very much for supporting this work. This work is not easy. This work can be taxing sometimes, And oftentimes, even the greatest healers, I don't care who they are, in whichever path, in whichever denomination, in whichever walk of life, sometimes wonder if what they do is really making a difference to the people out there. So I just want to really say thank you for the support. Okay. Okay, let's move along. We're going into the water signs. You know, the air signs and the air signs and the fire signs was hot. And the opening messages, the download for this evening has been pretty hot too. It is important for us to take heed, for us to really listen to the download Spirit is giving us. Not just in this channel, not just in this page, not just through this vessel, myself, but through anyone whom Spirit truly speaks through. Let's listen. We are living on unprecedented times, and things can get a little funky before it gets back in order. So we need all the divine, spiritual, elevated support we as humans can get. It's very important. Why are we receiving guidance that we're not listening to? Why are we receiving guidance that we're not willing to obey? Why are we receiving guidance that we're willing to ignore? Why are we receiving guidance that we doubt and we second guess? Why are we wasting Spirit's time? I wonder why that came through in between messages. Anyway, let's move forward. Where were we going? We were going to the water signs. That would be Cancer, that would be Scorpio, and that would be who else? That would be Pisces. Okay, Cancers. Are there any Cancers in the house? Are there any Scorpions in the house? Are there any Pisces in the house? Show up, and show up, show up. Vamos a ver si son verdad. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Cancer rising and Scorpio moon, little wicked. Yes, Pisces, oh my God. En el nombre de Dios, Cristo reinará. Okay. Remember, baby black Jesus. It's so interesting. This is a Cancer card, actually. Yep. 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 We got the Two of Cups for the water signs. Two of Cups. So, for a lot of people, this card could speak on romantic relationships. It can speak on a new relationship. It can speak on love and all this and all that. And I'm not saying it's not true. Each person, there's a saying in my country that says, cada cual camina con su librito bajo el brazo, which means everyone has their own guiding book under their arm. They walk by the book that they are loyal to, right? Metaphorically speaking. So what I will tell you with this particular card in terms of how I know it to be is that if there's one thing that right now you water signs need to be fully, completely in alignment with, is yourself. You need to be in full alignment with yourself. You need to be balanced with yourself. You need to be equal with your inner self. You need to be on your team. It's easier said than done because each and every time you might attempt to advocate for yourself, for your needs, for what you need, for what you want, for what you deserve, there's always going to be that one or two or three antagonistic person, that naysayer, that negative energy, that challenge, that chaos, that next conflict, whether it's at your job, whether it's with your boss, whether it's with a coworker, whether it's with a family member, whether it's with a significant other, whether it's a societal thing, a community thing. There's going to be that challenge. There's going to be that challenge, right? Well, this is where your masculine and your feminine needs to align. Some of you have allowed your feminine energy to be most present, which is why that need to nurture and that need to understand and that need to take care is most prevalent. But maybe you need to activate more of your masculine vibration. Or some of you are vibrating too strongly with your masculine energy, and that's why you are perceived to be too difficult and too hard and too harsh and too abrupt and too this and too that. And maybe it's time for you to invite the divine feminine energy into your life a little more. There needs to be balance. There needs to be balance. This is about balancing your conscious and your subconscious mind. Because your mind, your brain is telling you one thing, your heart is telling you something else, and you are right now in a situation that feels a little uncertain, it feels unstable, it feels confusing, you are in fear. You're not a fearful type per se, but you might be allowing fear to delay the process, you might be allowing fear to make you feel stuck and uncertain and weary, whether or not you should go for that next position, whether or not you should go ahead and not renew your lease, or whatever the case may be. There needs to be an alignment, an inner alignment with yourself during this time period. Is this making any sense to you, my water signs? Are you picking up what Spirit is laying down? It's important. It's important. This is also a matter of how do we rebuild? How do we rebuild our trust again? How do we rebuild trust again? Specifically, Spirit is saying, how do we rebuild trust with ourselves? Because it's not about people. This is about whether or not you're trusting yourself in this new level that you're in this new challenge that you are experiencing, in this new location, in this new city, in this new house, in this new relationship, in this new job. Are you trusting yourself? You have to rebuild your trust, because without trust, there's no confidence. If you lose trust in yourself, then you're not confident in you, which then makes it hard to make decisions. This is about you separating yourself from experiences from your past that broke your confidence, that broke the relationship you have with yourself, that broke your ability to believe in you. You got to release it. You got to heal that. You got to let it go. You got to flip the page. You got to up level that. You got to upgrade yourself. This is more about you than anyone else. I know this looks like a love thing and like a romantic thing, and it can be. It can speak also towards romance. But what is romance with someone else when you don't even know what it is to be romantic with yourself? See, sometimes we want things from people that we don't even know how to give it to ourselves. Isn't that a contradiction? Isn't that a contradiction? You want safety, but you don't feel safe with your own self, your own thoughts, your own feelings. You want protection, but you don't know how to protect your own self. You want to trust again, but you don't know how to trust yourself. You want to love again. You want love, but you don't really know how to truly love yourself. So then, what are you setting yourself up for? What are you setting yourself up for then? It needs to happen from within. Take care of your house, your inner house. Your inner house. This is a Cancer card. Cancer represents the home, represents the house, but it's not the physical house, but it's the inner house in yourself. You got to take care of your inner house. Your inner house has been through hell and back. Your inner house has had more scares that you choose to remember. Your inner house has been challenged. Your inner house has been attacked. Your inner house has been threatened. You have to lay down that foundation again. You got to wash things out. You got to rebuild your relationship with yourself. Let's move forward. Last but not least, the earth signs. It's earth signs in the house tonight. Water signs, if that message was for you, feel free to show your love and your support through the donation tab. Your real self, exactly. Okay. Earth signs. That would be Taurus. That would be Virgo. That would be Capricorn. Are you in the house tonight? Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Sun, rising, and moon. Are you in the house tonight? As I shuffle here, the calendar is open for one-on-one personal readings. Click the link in my bio if you are on IG. If you are on YouTube, the information is how to book an appointment with me is in the description box. Okay, so vamos para adelante. Para atrás ni para agarrar impulso. Let's move forward. This is not about moving backwards, it's about moving forward. Where the earth signs are the earth signs in the house. For the past 2 weeks, earth signs have been coming in hotter than a potato. Let it come, sweet, beautiful, nice, and easy tonight. En el nombre de Dios. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's not that bad. Then Almighty. Not that bad. By the way, do I want to say it? Okay, I'll say it. By the way, I'm starting a new channel on YouTube. I'm starting a new page on my IG. It's going to be different. This will continue. This mystical side, spiritual side will continue, but that particular other page is going to strictly be about coaching, life coaching. Okay. So stay tuned to that as well. That is coming soon. Okay. Vamos para allá. The earth signs. We got an earth card. Earth sign gets an earth card, of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. You're so funny, Tyron. The cigar. I knew it. Okay. We got the Nine of Pentacles for the Earth signs. The Nine of Pentacles for the Earth signs. Not a bad card when you see it from afar. Not a bad card when you read it superficially. And when you really think about it, there is no such thing as bad or good, since they vibrate on the same frequency. Believe it or not, I know this will blow some of your all's mind, which are Earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. That's shadow work energy there, too. But I don't have time to break that down right now. It's what you make of it that makes a difference. Like my godfather used to say, and many elders used to say, even if those of you that have an understanding of Oricha tradition, of Odu, of Oduns, of this Dilogun, or the oracle of shell readings, and these numeric combinations that come up, and some signs can be like, oh my God, oh my God. There's no such thing as a bad sign. There's no such thing as a good sign. It's what you make of it. Well, I believe personally that the same goes here. In tarot, you have the Tower and the Devil card and the Seven of Swords and the Five of Cups and, the Three of Swords and all these cards that people are like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's what you make of it. It's what you make of it that's really important. It's what you apply, how you apply yourself, that what really counts. And that being said, Spirit comes tonight and tells us Earth signs through an Earth card, which is the Nine of Pentacles. Your blessings will be determined literally by your hard work. You can't have hard work without consistency. Some of us are great hard workers, but we fail at consistency. And because we fail at consistency, we do not get the results we desire. Lack of consistency will kill dreams, will exhaust hope, will leave you stuck. Did you hear that? So Spirit says it needs us to work on our consistency. It needs us to focus on our consistency. The Nine of Pentacles could be very virtuous, could be very, could be a great manifester. The Nine of Pentacles says that if we really want, we won't have financial issues. Other people might have it, but we're not going to have it. But it's dependent upon our level of consistency that we keep. If you don't put in the consistency, if you don't put in the hard work, you will not get the desired results. You reap what you sow. But I want to take a different route with this card tonight. Spirit is laying in my heart to convey to you, whomever you are. I don't know who you are, but Spirit knows who you are. Spirit is saying it is possible that your lack of growth, your lack of success, your lack of abundance could be found in the house of the memories that you still hold on to. Memories of loss, memories of chaos, memories of struggle, memories of I'm not enough, memories of I'm not worthy, memories of not being nurtured, memories of not being loving, memories of not being loved, memories of not being accepted, memories of not being supported, memories of not being nurtured, memories of not being valued, memories of not knowing how to value yourself. And because this plays back in the background, you lack the focus that is needed of you in this moment in order for you to succeed. You can't be in two places at the same time. You're either here now, moving forward, or you're focused on issues of the past. And if parts of your being, mentally, spiritually, energetically, vibrationally, is focused on parts of your past, then you do not leave enough for you to give it your all consistently in the projects and visions and purpose that you should be working on, which makes it hard to change the pattern. The Nine of Pentacles comes here tonight and shows up for earth signs to let you know the blessing is there, but I don't see your discipline. The blessing is there, but I don't see your hard work. The blessing is there, but I don't see your consistency, which is why you will end up in the same level and kinds of sufferings. This is not a question of talent. This is not a question about your abilities. This is not a question of whether or not you're blessed. This is strictly about how much skin you have in the game. Plainly put, how invested are you in you? If you're more invested in what mama told you growing up, you can be invested, fully invested in whom you should be becoming. If you're fully invested in what your ex did to you, you cannot be fully invested in what you have the ability to create, because you can't be in two places at the same time. What has your focus? What are you investing your energy in? Because that determines the path. Are you a procrastinator? Are you inconsistent? Are you a when I'm in the mood kind of person? Because that in itself will show you where you will end. That's the work that needs to be done. Do you hear me? I see a lot of silence, so that is actually good, because mean spirit is going right into the jugular. You got what it takes, earth signs. You got what it takes, Taurus. You have what it takes, Virgo. You have what it takes, Capricorn. This is a season of manifestation. I want you to work on your consistency. I want you to work on letting go of those thoughts that produces unhealthy behaviors, and you will get the blessing. The blessing is already yours. It's just been delayed because you won't get with the program. You got to get with the program, earth signs. You got to get with the program. Taurus, you got to get with the program. Virgo, you got to get with the program. Capricorn, not people's program, not the program of your ex, not the program of the narcissistic partner you currently are in relationship with, but God's program, the program of your ancestors of wisdom, the program of your spirit guides of light. That's the program that you need to focus on, which ultimately has you in the forefront, front and center stage. You are the main course. You are the main course. Stop acting like crumbs. Stop accepting crumbs. Stop being crumbs. Do you hear me? Woof. Yeah. Spirit does it again, does it? Spirit does it again. My soul family. It is my deepest prayer that tonight's downloads enriches your life, promotes your life forward, elevates you to levels never seen before, and balances each and every part of your inner being. But this can only occur if you pay attention, if you take responsibility, if you take the first step forward, if you do your part. So the God of your understanding, can do its part. It takes two to tango. You can't leave it all to spirit. You can't leave it all to God. You can't leave it all to magic. You can't leave it all to the unseen. The unseen wants to see you. Where are you? Much love, much blessings to each and every one of you. Support this page, support this channel by doing me a huge favor, which is sharing this video, leaving a comment, hitting that like button, that thumbs up, please. And that's the way that you can really support this page. Share this live, share this video with someone that's not here, with a family member, with a friend, with a coworker. Share with someone. The calendar is open. If you're interested in your one-on-one reading, the calendar is open. I have availability for this Thursday. There is this month's healing meditation on the 21st of this month. I hope to see you there. I hope to connect with you. I hope to meet you. If I haven't met you before, I hope to see you again if I already met you. And on the 26th of this month will be the only day I will be available for in-person healings, personal healings, cleanses for this year, okay, for this beginning of this year. Click the link in my bio if you are on IG to schedule your session. Click the link in my bio to sign up for the class on the 21st. Click the link in my bio to schedule your reading. YouTube, you will find it all in the description box. I love you. May Spirit bless you. And I shall see you soon. Au revoir. Bye-bye. Arrivederci.